Check it out, I got a new tripod. So how crazy is this, right? I was on a job the other day. Normally I have 2 tripods. One of them, it was kind of a backup tripod, decided to break a little bit. And I'd had it for a long time, so I was like, do you know what, I'm just gonna leave it here, see if someone else wants it. So I left it there, and then afterwards I was like, man, I need to buy a new tripod now. Then literally the next day, get an email from this company, would you do a review on our tripod and you get to keep the tripod afterwards. So I was like, well, yeah, I'm actually kind of looking for a tripod at the moment. So yeah, I just kind of feel like the universe just giving me tripods these days. They basically gave me a choice of a couple of tripods and which one they would recommend. And I end up going for this model. I don't know if they've got the name of the model. I'm going to link it in my description anyway. This is the company. And I've got to say that this tripod, I've got another Manfrotto tripod that I use as my kind of main A-cam tripod. And this is actually better. It feels a lot better already. Like it feels heavy, it feels weighty, but also kind of packs up smaller. The legs have this, one of those screw-on kind of legs to tighten and loosen, which is cool. It's also got one of these that goes on the head so that you can kind of move it around. So that screws in there, and now, you know, the head can just basically move around. Also kind of extends here on the body with a screw. Oh, it extends even more. It's got double extension on that section there. But I like how it packs up actually, super small as well, like the way the legs flip out on this way. My other tripod doesn't do that. Kind of goes in on itself and comes in a carry case as well. So this is great, and what I thought I'd do with it today is to basically go out and get some really slow shutter speed pictures. So let's get at it.
Nowadays the pain follow me, deal with trauma privately. I don't want to be a burden, I handle things defiantly.
So yeah, Eden's doing a little photo shoot. So yeah, it'd be cool to try some long exposure stuff. I actually haven't tried much before, but you can get some really cool effects. I actually remember watching an exhibition years ago of someone who did some really long exposure stuff, and he left the exposure open like so long that the environment he was in the people kind of disappeared, because if you leave it open long enough, the shutter, then basically, you know, the people will kind of disappear. They'll just come out like a blur, but like an extreme blur. So like all his pictures would be like, you know, of London, but it would look like nothing or no one was there because the shutter was left open so long. So it's like some really interesting concepts and really interesting things you can do by leaving a shutter open for a long period of time. But I don't think we'll be leaving it open that long today. It would just be interesting to see what we kind of get. So Eden wants to kind of do a long exposure shot here in the middle of Regent Street. So we're going to use the tripod.
It's actually got a nice weight to it. It's not as light as it looks, but that's good, especially in this wind.
Another great thing about when I was unwrapping this tripod is it came with an extra plate, which was super useful. So if you lose your plate, yeah, it comes with one.
Cool, tightening it up. It's got a little cold shoe here that you just screw to tighten it.
It's got a little spirit level as well.
Yeah.
Eden's gone off, but I'm going to try and carry on getting some slow shutter speed here in Piccadilly. So I've got a tripod. It's just started raining, just my luck. Shit. Yeah, so it's kind of mad because some of those shots I was just doing were like 2 second shutter speed, and you know, you can see the kind of blurriness effect, right? So it's pretty interesting. Let's hit up some other shots and see what we can get. I'm going to check out this little spot here. I've moved places, and I think this place is a bit more traffic because for some reason down Regent Street it just seemed a bit slow when I was trying to get cars going past. So let me try some few shots here. I'm not going to lie though, it's actually great having a tripod with me just to kind of walk around the streets with and film. And also one thing I would say about this tripod is it's pretty windy here today, and it seems to be holding itself together. Pretty windy, rainy day here in London, but yeah, it seems to be holding itself together. So it's quite heavy duty though, so which is quite nice as well. So it's pretty good. As As you can see, those last few pictures were taken at 8-second shutter speed, and you can really see that kind of drag, and then see how like people start to kind of disappear and the streets kind of look empty. If I slowed that down even more, you get that effect even more where, you know, you can't even see people kind of disappear, streets kind of look empty. So it's really interesting effect. The tripod's pretty awesome. It's my first day with it, and so far it's been great. It's got a good weight to it, so it doesn't get affected too much by the wind. I like the way it kind of packs out quite small as well, because the kind of bottom goes inside of it. So it kind of packs up pretty small. One thing I would say though is like the kind of ball head on it. I'm not a huge fan of. I know there is a lot of tripods out there like that with the kind of that ball rolling head. But I kind of prefer the one on my Manfrotto tripod, which has a kind of one kind of stick going out which adjusts up and down, and one which kind of like the tilt, you know, kind of tilt axis. I kind of prefer that a little bit. Just I feel like I got a lot more control, whereas once you've undone the kind of screw on the ball, then it kind of just starts rolling everywhere. But it depends on what you really like. I'm going to actually finish this review off tomorrow because just going home now and it's a bit crazy here in Soho, and I kind of want to show the tripod off in a bit more light and how it kind of comes apart and puts together. So I'll see you tomorrow for the end result of this kind of tripod review.
So what did you think of those pictures? They were pretty cool, right? If you haven't tried out slow shutter, I'd definitely try that out for myself. As Eden mentioned, you probably would need a ND filter, and I found myself really cracking up the ND filter and the aperture. You know, like some of the shots I think were even aperture 22, and that was at night, and that was with the ISO turned down to even about 100. So you have to really kind of darken your sensor in other ways, and you've got to shutter that slow. The only thing that can be tricky is if you have something on the screen that you want to be still, like a subject. What I personally do then is do 2 different pictures. So I would do one of the subject with the shutter high, and then the background with the shutter low, and superimpose them on Photoshop after. That's the way to get the kind of best result, I find, if you're going to do a shot like that. And I have done it before, where I've done a shot on like a racetrack with an old kind of 60s kind of vibe shoot where the girl was kind of jumping in the air with one of those black and white flags, and then the race cars going past. And what I did was we basically did, you know, loads of shots of the girl kind of jumping up, really fast shutters to make sure it had like not much motion in it. And then another shot of the cars kind of driving past me really fast on either side, and then kind of superimpose the 2 together. So you can get some really great results if you're kind of using Photoshop and blending the 2. So yeah, all in all, using this tripod has been pretty good. Yeah, it's like a pretty sturdy tripod, and it's got some great features that I didn't use. Like for instance, this leg actually comes off and unscrews, and then it actually screws on the bottom here. So it actually kind of turns into a monopod. So it can basically be a monopod and a tripod. Also, I quite like the way it folds up quite small and fits into this great little carry case that comes with it. That's super, super helpful. One thing I need to get used to though is actually using a kind of ball head like this. I have had tripods in the past which kind of use this kind of same setup, but actually I'm using a Manfrotto tripod at the moment. You know, that's been my kind of A tripod for quite a long time, and it's got a kind of handle coming out on one axis and then a handle coming out on the back, so you can kind of pivot it a lot easier. It's not really, it seems a bit more like stiff kind of thing when trying to move the tripod around, whereas with this, once you've undone this kind of the ball head here, it moves around very freely, and actually kind of like tips and moves quite, it's like, you know, you can't really get like subtle adjustments out of it very easily, but it's fine if that's what you want, you know, the kind of freedom to move around. Another great thing is it comes with an extra plate in the box, so that's always really helpful in case you kind of, you know, have 2 cameras that you're kind of trying to flick on, or in case you just lose one. And another thing that is pretty cool is these little screw legs, but once again, they take me a while to get used to, because in the one I've got at the moment, it's just clips that open and close. Whereas, you know, screwing this on and off, that's the only thing I found was actually closing the tripod and opening it last night. Took me a bit more time, but that's maybe because I'm just not used to it. Another thing as well is it comes with exchangeable legs, which my one at the moment doesn't, which is really awesome. It's got these kind of point feet that you can use to, you know, put it in the kind of mud or so they kind of screw on the bottom. So all in all, this is, yeah, it's a great tripod. I'm going to link it in my description anyway, so you can go straight from my description and buy it if you're looking for a tripod. I think it comes in around £80. So yeah, test it out for yourself and see if you like it. And thanks a lot, man, Billy, for sending me this tripod. I know I'm gonna get some great use out of it. So thanks a lot, and please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.